There is this popular Japanese proverb that says, if you fall 7 times, you stand up 8 times. That sounds like a Bible verse anyway. And also Confucius in his quote said, it does not matter how slow you are moving, but as long as you don't stop moving. So these two quotes now, I believe they have something in common. And what they are trying to signify is that we should not be stagnant in whatever situation we find ourselves. But unfortunately, in John chapter 5, verses 1 to 9, a man was stagnant. He's been on a single spot for 38 years. He was at that poolside. Every time he tries to get into the pool, someone else faster than him gets there. So he was stuck on a single spot for 38 years. So imagine the kind of condition he would have been exposed to. He was unable to get education. His health would have deteriorated. People would have said different things to him. And he would just have been, exposed to different atrocities. And he was just stuck for 38 years. Just as his prolonged illness left him in prison helpless, spiritual stagnancy carries significant dangers that can hinder a believer's growth and effectiveness, and he won't be able to do anything for God. So we can understand the dangers of spiritual stagnancy by explicating 3 things. Number 1 is vulnerability. So as believers, when we are spiritually stagnant now, the first thing we might probably suffer is being vulnerable to the attacks of the enemies. We become porous to any kind of attacks that comes from. So the first danger of being spiritually stagnant is probably vulnerability to the attacks of the enemy. So the Bible regards people that are stagnant as babies. Since they are not yet matured and they are still growing now, the Bible calls them babies that desire the sincere milk of the word that they might grow. So they are still feeding them. Babies cannot do anything by themselves. They are still developing and they need a lot of dependency on their parents. So that is how the Bible describes those that are still growing now. They are like immature children that cannot do anything. They can't take responsibilities by themselves. So because they are babies now, so they become easy prey or easy target for the enemy. The Bible describes the devil what? So the Bible describes the devil as the lion looking for whom to devour. So something about lion is that when they want to attack their prey now, they will identify the prey, isolate the prey, then attack. So they don't just attack, they look for weaklings in the herd before they attack. So they don't go to the strongest one. They look for the weaklings, the vulnerable ones. So those ones that are immature, that cannot defend themselves. So that's how the devil attacks. Also is regarded as the roaring lion now. So that's how he attacks. So he tries to figure out where someone is weak, try to isolate them from the rest, and attack. So if you are spiritually stagnant, you become vulnerable to the attacks of the enemy. So the second danger is the inability to bear fruit or reduce fruitfulness. So as you can see, the man at the pool of Bethesda now, he was stuck in a situation, he was stuck in that condition, and he couldn't bear fruit, he couldn't move forward, he could not better his life. So this is the same thing believers stand to suffer if they choose to be stagnant in their own walk with Christ. They won't be able to bear fruit. So John chapter 15 verse 2 says, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. So when we are spiritually stagnant and we are not bearing fruit, we can be separated from God, because there is nothing God can do with such branches. So he severed himself from them and they are separated eternally from God. So when we are spiritually stagnant now, we begin to have the inability to bear fruit to God. So for us to avoid this kind of situation, we have to abide in Christ. That's why he said in John chapter 15 verse 4, abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself except it abide in the vine, no more can ye except ye abide in me. So we need to abide in Christ so that we can be able to bear much more fruit. Most often than not, why people choose to be complacent and stagnant in their spiritual walk with Christ is because they are comfortable and satisfied on the level that they are on, and they feel like, okay, fine, this is the highest level they can get to, and so that's why they sit complacent. And because they are complacent in what they are doing, it becomes easy for them to be tempted because they are not developing themselves in the world. So because we are complacent and just stagnant in whatever condition we are now, so we become prone to sin because we are not moving. So at that spot now, there are different situations that will force us personally. So even in the spirit now, it is much more complex and dangerous. So in conclusion, I believe beyond any reasonable doubt that it is God's will for us to continue to grow in our walk with Him. So through prayer, through His word and fast, we can continue to exercise ourselves in the spirit and continue to grow more to become like the person of Jesus Christ. And most importantly, it is very significant for us to go to Christ on a daily basis, commit ourselves to Him on a daily basis. So don't settle by the poolside. Step forward and embrace the abundant life He has prepared for you. Thank you so much for listening.